In three, two, one, go.
Welcome to the 5G podcast.
My name is Steven.
My name is Trevor.
We hope you enjoy our conversations about God, guns, gaming, goals, and gastronomy.
Our point is to provide a honest, down-to-earth conversation between two average guys.
Thanks for watching and hope you enjoy.
Well, what did we want to start with? The dog stories or?
The best dog stories that is we teased last time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I go first, you go first.
I'll let you go first.
Okay, cool. So mine is from the mission. And this one's hilarious. I was telling my family part of this story just the other day at dinner, actually. In this one area, tiny town in the middle of nowhere, Argentina, right? There were probably more dogs in the city than people, which is not an exaggeration. So me and my companion showed up fresh to the area, right? So there was we didn't have any missionaries that knew the area there before us. We were just going in blind. And we found out pretty quick this one dog, it was like a German Shepherd Border Collie mix, which looks kind of funny.
Yeah,
he's
I can't even picture that.
He's German Shepherd front, but he's like long hair on the back, so it kind of looked like he was wearing pants. It's really funny. I can't even remember his name. I should have tried to look up some of my journal writings back then or something. But he always followed us around, just everywhere we went in this town. It was so weird. Like, we didn't know where he came from at the start. Found out it was like a neighbor a few doors down that owned him. Nobody really owns dogs in Argentina because they don't use collars. You just like throw food out on your porch and you're like, oh, this dog is mine now because he came to eat here.
He comes back every third night.
Yeah, right? No, and he was literally like always outside their gate. And so he followed us around. We found out pretty quick from the people around that like, oh no, yeah, that's the missionary's dog. So, what do you mean that's the missionary's dog? It's like, yeah, he just always follows around the missionaries. You see the two guys in white shirts and then the dog. Like, what? He doesn't know us. Like, he just must have recognized the white shirts and was like, oh yeah, following those guys. It was the weirdest thing. We got a couple stories. It got us into trouble more often than not because a lot of the dogs didn't like him. Like, if we'd go to one neighborhood, all the dogs would just be barking, or if they were outside their gates, they'd be out fighting in the street sometimes. And then we're trying to like conversate with people on the street. And it's like, hello, would you like to hear a message? And it's just dogs barking and fighting in the background. It's like, can we go inside? Like, you just can't hear anything out there. So he was a nuisance a lot of the times. But it was super funny to have around because it was just, I don't know, it was a blast. Always walking around with the dog. But sometimes we'd have to, like, if we knew we were going to a neighborhood where the neighborhood dogs didn't like him, we had to like get him trapped somehow. Which is as crazy as it sounds, like in Minecraft trying to like lead your pigs with a carrot on a stick. That's what that felt like sometimes. Trying to get him stuck or lost. Or just, yeah. Anyway, the actual story I wanted to share. We're turning down this one street in this one neighborhood. I think it was a new neighborhood, so we didn't know that the dogs didn't like him on the street. But another thing about Argentina, no dogs are fixed. And so you don't really let female dogs roam around the street. We turn down this one street and we see a female dog that's like walking down the road because all these other male dogs are like, they're all like moving up to her, like a ton of them, like a whole gang. And you can hear, I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. And they all like pounce at once, and they're pouncing on the female dog, and our dog just like rushes in there. Was he gonna join in? Like, what's going on at the dog pile? No, he goes in. He starts fighting off the other dogs.
No way.
From the female dog. Yeah, he's protecting her, and then like he's taking some bites and he's dishing them back out. And me and my companion, we go with rocks and we start helping. You just throw them near the dogs. You don't actually hurt them unless they're big and they can take it.
Unless they're big and they can take it.
But yeah, finally, like the female dog, she runs away. She gets like through a gate or whatever, so she's safe. She was like a medium sized, like a Labrador type thing. And our dog is, fighting them off, spinning and biting, and we're chucking rocks, and so the whole gang scatters or whatever. And then so then we try to like go around the corner, like down the street, like, hey, let's get out of here. And then the female dog starts following us, starts following our dog. And this is the funniest part. My companion and I envisioned this in our head of like, she was the damsel in distress.
Yeah.
And he came to save her. And this female dog was like, just coming and like asking for it. Like just laying in front of the dog. It was just like, oh, you saved me. And like, and our dog was like, he was like pure. He was like, no, madam. Like,
I am a paladin.
yes,
Like,
it was the weirdest thing. For the next like 10, 20 minutes, she was just like trying to get our dog's attention of like, you have won me, my champion. And our dog was just like, nope, like, it was just a job, man. Like,
that's
he
hilarious.
didn't accept his reward.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it was the funniest thing. Seeing that, like, in general, I've got tons of dog stories. I love seeing, like, the culture of dogs, if you will.
Yeah.
They have such personalities, and it was fun to see.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
That's a good story. That's way better than my stories. I was like, dog stories, man. I don't know if like, so I have two that are short but really funny. At least I think they're hilarious. So the first one is my family had a dog. This is a few years ago. He died in 2016, 2015, 2016.
Which one?
Bridger.
Bridger, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Bridger.
I remember.
Bridger was a behemoth of a dog.
He was bigger than me.
He was 140 pounds.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. I think he was bigger than me when I met him, maybe.
Probably.
When we were
He
12
was
or whatever.
massive. Massive. He was 140 pounds and fast. He was like kind of chunky, but also just like super muscular. He was a lab mastiff mix.
Cool. Yeah.
And he was fast as all get out, but only he was like a dwarf.
They're natural sprinters.
He caught so many cats and squirrels and rats and stuff. But we had this area of the backyard for him. We call it Bridgerland because it's just like the wild forests of Arizona. But you know, we have the orange trees and you know all the other.
Yeah, and you had vines and bushes. And
Yeah,
it was like a jungle right there.
we have raspberry bushes and blackberry bushes that are kind of out there, and it's very not backyardy. It's very kind of like it's pretty jungly. But so he had this. It's like a big area that he had to like roam around in, and it backs up to our fence, and our back fence is on a main road, and the junior high is right across the street.
Yeah.
And so there was one night, like early evening, like, you know, 7 o'clock or whatever, right after dinner. And it's nice outside, so I was hanging outside we were all outside, maybe having like a fire or something like that. It wasn't cold out, but it wasn't like summer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was maybe like October, November or something.
Nice.
And it's like a Friday or Saturday. And, you know, we're just chilling and whatnot. And we hear Bridger growl. And he's this big 140 black dog. He could put his paws on your shoulder and his head would be like your same height.
Yeah, I love it.
Of my dad, who's 6 foot, right? Like, big dog. And we hear him start to growl. And he's got this deep, like, behemoth, you know, demon growl.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, could scare Satan away. And we hear him growling. And we're like, what the heck? And he's the nicest, silliest dog on the planet.
Yeah, to like humans and.
Oh my gosh, he
dogs.
wouldn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We had another little
Your
pit
family
bull.
had other dogs,
We
that's
had
right.
other dogs, and the only time he ever fought the other dog was when the dog was being a turd to him, and he literally just picked her up and threw her on the ground, and then said, "Stay,"
That's fair.
and then walked away. Didn't continue the fight at all. He
Yeah,
was like, "I'm over this. Just go away."
Just stopped it.
Anyway, nicest dog, but he could growl. And he starts growling. And we're like, what the heck? Like, Bridger, stop it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, stop being dumb. He starts, like, walking towards the wall, like, real menacingly. And we're like, what the heck? And we can't see anything back there because of the trees and stuff that's back there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hear something, like, crash down in the backyard. And we're like, what the heck? And he just takes off.
Whoa.
Like, Mach 4. Just goes. And he's going, "Roar, roar, roar," just barking his head off. And then all of a sudden we hear a blood-curdling scream. Just just like blood curdling, like someone had like seen the devil.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're like, what the heck? So we all like run out there, and Bridger has chased a random teenage hooligan up one of the trees.
No way.
And is sitting there trying to climb the tree after this kid
That's
because some retard kid had just hopped our wall for whatever reason.
Kids.
And they were like in my brother's grade or something like that. And so my mom and dad knew these kids.
Oh man.
And they had just decided to hop the wall into our backyard.
Just to come say hi or whatever.
No, just because they were stupid. And so
your
this dog just
treat him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They climbed up the tree and we're just sitting there screaming. And we're like,
He's like, your dog's like, hey, come get the shotgun. I found the prey.
my mom also, so this happened a bunch because we were right across the street from the school.
Mm.
And so kids would hop into our backyard all the time because
Lots of hooligans for some reason.
I don't know why. We could never figure out why.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know them half the time.
That's really weird.
This happened like probably 10 times or more of random kids just hopping in our backyard.
You would think after the first time that your dog attacks one of them,
Yeah, I don't know.
that it would stop.
I don't know.
Word would spread.
But another time, this isn't a dog story, but it's a hilarious story. It might even be better than the dog story. My mom hears Bridger just barking his head off.
Oh, there you go. It's a dog story.
There, yeah. But my mom was like, what the heck? And so she's like yelling out the door like, Bridger, shut up. Bridger, shut up. And he's not. And so mom's like, what the heck? And so she sees, so Bridgerland had a fence that kind of segregated it from the rest of the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
From Bridgerland to like the human occupied backyard where there's like grass and like a bench.
Peaceful.
Yeah. And so she sees out there, she's like, what the heck is that? And some kids had hopped the wall. And so my mom's like, I hate this. And so she grabs a 2-foot steel pipe and starts jogging out there like a freaking barbarian.
No way.
And starts, as soon as she like gets to the grass and they see her, she raises the pipe over her head and starts charging at them, yelling, get out of my backyard.
What?
And they start screaming and they run and one of them gets stuck in the backyard and he just doesn't know what to do. He's like freaking out and so he's like running back and forth along the wall trying to figure out how to get out. And his friend is on the wall like, and my mom is just charging at them.
Oh.
And they finally get over and they run away. And then a couple days later, my brother comes home from school and he goes, man, you wouldn't believe how much fear you instill into people, Mom. Because apparently this story was going around that they got chased by some crazy lady with an axe, or it was like
the details
she had a claymore battle sword, or whatever. She was carrying an M60 machine, whatever. And
Grab their triple barrel shotgun.
yeah, exactly. She grabbed her grenade launcher and started chasing her.
Out of fire warning shots. And we just ran.
Yeah. My other dog story is a little bit, it's really short. My, Ryan and I, we were out camping with our dog, with her family. And we were on this hill kind of above a lake. And it was the last day. And we were getting all packed up. And we had Django off of his, we have like a 60-foot cable that we use when he goes camping. So he can wander around and do stuff, but
Yeah, my parents do the same thing for their dog. Yeah, take him out camping.
yeah, just,
It's supposed to be on the leash still, so you've got it there just in case you grab the cable.
but we had packed that away because we were literally like maybe an hour or two away from heading out.
Yeah, loading the cars and
And
go.
so we were like, he was chilling. It was in the morning. He was sleeping. And all of a sudden he just jumps up and he's watching these geese fly overhead. And we're like, yeah, you like those, Django? I was kind of riling him up, like, Django, get the birds. Go get him. Go get him. Go get him. And he's like looking at him like, what do I do? What do I do? And he sees them and they come in real close to the ground because, like I said, we were on this little hill and like below us was like a lake.
Oh, so like they were swooping down.
They were swooping down in the lake, but it was like real close to the ground. And so he shoots off like a bullet, just as fast as can be, taken off. And this dog is fast.
Yeah, he's like a pit bull mix too, right?
Yeah, but he's smaller though, so he got real fast twitch muscles. And so he's sprint, like he can fly. He's so quick. He's going, and he disappears down this hill.
Oh no.
And we don't see any birds. We don't hear anything. We're like, what the heck? And you know, like, he doesn't like water at all.
Mhm.
Like, he will not get in the water.
Gotcha.
And we're like, what the heck? Django. You know, we're calling his name, and all of a sudden he comes trotting back, super happy, super happy, super happy, and he is just soaked head to toe.
What?
And what had happened was we went down and investigated later. Is he didn't see that there was water, and we could see his we could see
Like
him
footprints?
not like when he was running down, but you know, towards the bank it gets kind of muddier, so we could see.
Uh-huh.
And we could see he came running down, and then towards the bank he saw the water about 5 feet away from the water, and then you could just see skid marks with all 4 of his legs. And he just went face first into the water, going like this.
Oh man.
Like Scooby-Doo's trying to stop, right?
Yeah. Couldn't stop the momentum.
He was 100% covered. He just went full face first into the water. And he came back and he was just happy, but he was soaked. Like, you're so dumb, you stupid
All right,
dog.
now you gotta get in the car to go home. I hope you like wet dogs. Man.
Well, and because, you know, it's dusty as well, and so he just got
Oh.
covered and
Covered in dirt.
smelled like wet, dusty dog the entire drive home. And this is when we were living in Utah and we were in Arizona, so it was like a 9-hour drive to get back.
Really?
Yeah. So we just smelled this dumb, dusty dog for 9 hours in the
Oh,
car.
windows down on that one.
Yeah.
That's
It was
hilarious.
funny.
Oh, so yeah. Wish you could have caught that one on camera.
Oh, me too.
Like,
It was.
like a cartoon.
He's done some. This dog is like really funny. He's done some really dumb stuff. There was one time we were playing ball with him, and I threw the ball, and it like bounced and hit the ground. And instead of like just like pick it up, he goes and like headbutts the ground. But his back leg, he used his front legs as a fulcrum, and his back legs went up, and he like jumped off and like hit his face on the ground, and then came up with the ball. It was so funny.
What were you thinking?
He also is a fly hunter. We call him the Great Fly Hunter of Arizona, because
He couldn't hunt birds, so he had to try something equal to his skill level.
about the same size brain.
Yeah, there you go.
So whenever there's a fly running around, he'll like look at it and like track it, and then he'll chomp them. He catches them too. It's gross because he just swallows them. But
Yeah, that's impressive. We had this old cat when I was growing up that would catch scorpions.
ooh,
Yeah.
would he
Okay,
get stung?
think so, but he just didn't seem to care. They'd like, because he'd chomp him, and then like the tail would sting his nose as he's like munching on the front half.
What the heck?
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Most of the time he would like chomp and like cut the tail off, basically. So we'd find like just scorpion bodies.
Butts.
Either the tails and some legs sticking out.
He's leaving a message.
Right,
he's
yeah,
like
the other
he's like a
ones.
gangster, like leaving fingers in boxes.
It was so weird. Yeah, we never figured that one out. He was great. Like he kept the scorpions down in the house, but
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Django just got stung by a scorpion the other day.
Oof.
For the first time. He came running upstairs and was going to grab a toy, and there was a scorpion right. It was like early in the morning, right, like 6 o'clock when I woke up, and he got stung, and immediately he was like, "What the heck is going on here?"
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, but after 3-4 hours, he was like fine. But like for me, whenever I've gotten stung, it hurts for like a day or two.
yeah, you get like sore. After
Yeah,
that.
you get super sore, but he was fine. I don't know what the deal was there, but
Huh.
anyway, yeah. There's my dog stories
Nice. Yeah, thanks for
and my mom story.
mom story.
That one's the funniest. In
That
my
was
well,
pretty
the Bridger one's funny too. I think it's just hilarious that stupid kid just got treed
My 140-pound dog.
going at Mach 3. That dog was fast.
Probably run up the tree too. Yep. All right, I'm not messing with that. My favorite thing actually is when it only really worked in Argentina because all the dogs like it's all ingrained in them there. But when a big dog was charging at me in Argentina, I'd flip around and just drop in a wrestling stance. So I just like make myself look big down at their level. Basically, I'm down like partially squatted. And that usually was enough to get them to like turn tail because it's like quick motion and I am big, so it's just like, oh yeah. Or like if I really had to, then you pick up the rock. But yeah, I never had to like actually fight off a dog. Most of the time they'd come and they'd like try to bite you, but if you just like grabbed their jaw, they didn't know what to do.
They're like this is not how this is supposed to work.
Yeah, it's so funny if you ever try it like on your dog at home, if he's just like play mouthing you or whatever, you just like grab his bottom jaw or like his top jaw works too, and then they're just like, okay, I don't know how to bite anymore. Like, it's so weird. They'll try to like yank and pull out, but you can just grip it there, and then usually like it just seems to like dissuade them. They're just like, oh, okay, I guess I can't bite this guy anymore. You can just like shove him aside, and they're like, oh, okay.
Django and I'll let him wrestle it, and I'll put like a long sleeve sweatshirt on or whatever,
Oh, yeah, so
and I'll let him like really chomp down on my arm, and it's really fun because if he chomps down, I can just go wonk, and he goes. Yeah, he's only ever drawn blood once,
Oh, okay.
but he leaves some pretty good scratches and scrapes.
No, that's our dog. He's got pretty good claws on him.
Yeah, but it's real fun. I'll like push him, and then he'll like come at me, and I'll like grab his back leg and pull it out from under him, and he just like leg sweeps him, fall on the ground.
Sorry, buddy. You got to learn some better technique.
He'll try to come and like pit bulls do this thing where they will put their body weight into you.
Oh yeah, just a little like shoulder check.
Yeah, they'll try to shoulder check you, and so he'll try to do that with me, and I'll just do it back to him, and he goes. Well, he's a 45-pound dog or whatever, and I'm a 250-pound dude. Like,
It's a good idea.
good try, bud, but
Good try.
better look next time.
Yeah, that's funny.
Alrighty,
Cool.
want to talk about the movie or the books?
Let's what time are we at?
Might be good. We got plenty of time.
Yeah. I want to talk about both. So well, yeah, we'll talk about books.
Cool.
I guess I'll swap off.
I just want to go through our favorite books because I was talking about this with Ryan the other day,
Mhm.
and how like all of my favorite books, like I read a decent amount,
Yeah.
but all of my favorite books are like they're not like the popular books.
Oh sure.
Like for example, we were talking about Harry Potter, and she recently just read all of them and she loves them.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's right.
I've read them all before, and my unpopular opinion is that they are overrated.
I don't think I ever finished number 7.
Number 7 is
That's
this is my hot take. Harry Potter Book 7 is
Like
the
the
worst piece of literature almost ever written, besides the Communist Manifesto.
well, it's like I don't know,
And the Communist Manifesto reads better than Book 7.
it does. I've read it. It's not bad. It's, in terms of flow, they don't wander in the wilderness for 40 years like they do in Harry Potter.
Dude, the Bible was more entertaining.
The Bible was more entertaining.
The Jews
When
in the
they're
desert was more entertaining
'Cause at
than
least
Harry
it's funny.
Potter in the desert.
It was like, really? Like, you guys screwed up again? Moses is like, all right, take another lap.
Moses is just a wrestling coach.
Yeah, he is.
Moses is just a wrestling
He's
coach.
so fed up with their crap. He's like, run another lap, guys. Come on. Gotta kill this generation off. More entertaining. Yeah.
For the record, we're not laughing because they're Jews. We're laughing because Moses is the bad egg.
The Bible has got some funny stories in it. And,
Bible's got some hilarious
and most
stories
of the
in it.
time, it's like, yeah, the prophets, like Moses, just like having to deal with normal, average people.
Normal stupid people. It's just
Or God is just like, yeah, all right, they're
it's like,
stupid, but
hey numbnuts, I told you to only worship one God, not a freaking idol made
Yeah.
of a bowl.
Moses comes down, he's just got to
He's like, son of
You got again?
Can you imagine you like spend months up on this mountain communing with God,
Right. And
he has like the
perfect
commandments,
like
and then you come down and your brother, who is supposed to be the leader, has like made this brazen image of a bull, and they're worshiping this like golden calf, and you're just like, son of a
I forget
break these stone tablets.
I forget the exact line, but Aaron is just like, yeah, man, they wanted a calf. What was I supposed to do? It's like, Aaron, figure it out.
That's why you're in charge.
It's like, so I made the calf for him.
But that's the funny part is he wasn't like just allowing them to do it. He made it for
Yeah,
them.
it's just like they came to me, like, yeah.
It's so funny.
I love the Bible. It's got some good stuff.
It's so funny.
Back to your point, yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah. So we were talking about Harry Potter, and she's like, "Okay, well, what books are better?" And I go, "Okay,
Oh.
there's a huge list of books that are better." So I started going over my like top 10 books. like that I've read, and most of them are. I think all of them are fiction.
See, I was trying to find more of my favorite books, and I wish I would have taken more time. Maybe I'll come up with a more comprehensive list later for you. But most of mine, I need to like buy them because I'm scrolling through my bookshelf. I was like, okay, I know I like more books than this.
Yeah.
I just don't own them yet. Because a lot of my favorite books I know are ones I've read multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a book worth owning and having then.
Yeah, I own a lot of books.
You told me.
When Ryan and I moved down from Utah, we had literally, I think it was 5 or 6. 6 might be an exaggeration, but five is probably accurate.
Costco bins.
Of the Costco like black and yellow topped bins, like heavy duty ones.
Oh yeah,
Full of just my books.
Those are heavy.
Hers and my books, mostly mine. But I have a lot of nonfiction stuff, and a lot of it was like school books, right?
Yeah,
But the vast majority of it is not. And probably 75% of them, of the non-school books, are fiction, 25% are nonfiction.
Sure.
Maybe 50-50. Anyway. But I was going over like my favorite books, and I've told you this, and I will die on this hill forever. My favorite book ever, and if you haven't read this book, you have to go read it, is All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh yes, that's right. See, I couldn't put that one on my list because I knew that'd be top on yours.
It's number one, far above and beyond any other book I've ever read. It's like, oh yeah, my second favorite book is like here. All Quiet on the Western Front is like here.
Boom.
Number 3 is like right below here. You know, it's like
It's
a ladder, and then
tier,
jump.
like-
You know, it's so good. And I was so excited, but also apprehensive of when they did the new Netflix adaptation
the
of
newest
it.
remake, yeah,
They knocked that out of the park, man.
so good.
It's so good, and that book is just fantastic, just fantastic.
I'm probably due for a reread on that. I think I probably said that last time we talked about the movie, but
Probably,
that's
yeah. It's been a while since I've read it. Actually, I read it at the beginning of COVID when I thought it was going to be a 2-week break instead of a
You're like,
2-year
2 weeks,
break.
I'll read it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, that book is just
Nice,
chef's
nice.
kiss. Then my second favorite book,
Oh, series.
it's
The whole series. Okay.
2 series
Oh,
that are from the same author, but they are interconnected.
yeah.
Is the Brother Band, or no, sorry, Ranger's Apprentice.
Ranger's Apprentice, right?
It's a lot of books now. It's probably
Isn't the first series like 12 or something?
the first series is 12.
Yeah.
And then he has his second series, which is the Brother Band Chronicles, which is 4.
Okay.
And then he has another series that is kind of a continuation of the first series, but with a different main character. Still the same characters in general,
okay.
but instead of following one person, it's following a different one. It's kind of like a passing on of like the generations of the
Interesting.
Rangers.
Did it like kind of grow up with the readers? Because that's one thing I kind of liked about. I felt like at least when we were growing up, maybe this happened in other like generations, but it's kind of cool. Like some of those young adult novels series, like we read them when we were like 12 or whatever. Then as you got to like 16, 17, the series progressed. Like so did the characters.
Yeah,
at
no,
the
just
time,
yeah,
They
because
felt a little bit more like adultish.
yeah, because the first book in Ranger's Apprentice is this guy Will, who's the main character, is 14 or 15,
Okay.
and he gets chosen to be a ranger,
Ranger's Apprentice.
the Ranger's Apprentice.
That's the name of the book.
That is the name of the book.
Is he still an apprentice? All 12 books?
No, he stops
okay.
being an apprentice in the second
Wait, really? You named your whole series?
or third. I don't remember which one it was. No, it's the third. At the end of
Gotcha.
at the third, I don't
Then
remember.
it's just called The Ranger.
No, but yeah, so he's like 15 when he starts or whatever, and then by the end of book 12, he's like
King.
40s.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Maybe 30s.
That's pretty cool then, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it definitely grows up. But then what's cool is that his second series,
Second series.
it's attached to it. So the 12th book in the Ranger's Apprentice is called The Royal Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And the next series is called The Royal Ranger.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so book 12 of Ranger's Apprentice is also book 1 of The Royal Ranger,
Interesting, yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
And so, but it's probably 18 books or so total
Of like the whole...
of the whole universe kind of
Cinematic
thing.
universe.
Yeah. And he did the shoot off series called The Brother Band Chronicles, which follows a group of kids from one of the other main areas of the book.
Okay.
Right? And it has characters from the Ranger's Apprentice series, but they're like not like the main character.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Just to build up the world building.
yeah, it's really cool.
That's neat.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool. I read some of Wheel of Time, and that one has like so many characters. I imagine kind of like Game of Thrones probably does it in the same way, but I've never read Game of Thrones. Of like, I think like book 4 didn't even have like one of the main characters that I kind of liked it, and I was like, wait, what happened to this guy? Or maybe it was like book 3 he wasn't in it at all, and then book 4 was like all about that character. I was like, man, okay, this is kind of crazy. But then after book 4, it's like you don't really see that character again. Like his arc was kind of over,
interesting.
and so you build this whole universe, this whole setup, but then you can just like explore parts of it bit by bit. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, it's very interesting how different authors will take different approaches at world building.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes they have like the idea of the world and then they make a story within it. Sometimes they have like a story and then they make a world out of it.
Make a world around it. Yeah, totally.
So, but yeah, and then after the Ranger's Apprentice stuff, series, my third favorite book is 100% Dune.
Dune. Whoa. That's all I remember from that movie.
The book is so good, and I loved the movie, but the book is so much better than the movie.
Yeah, I gotta sit down to read that. That's like one of the first sci-fi novels, so I really gotta go back to my roots and
Yeah, it's so good, so good. Then I've got I was trying to make my top 10, and I missed number 4 and number 9 because I was saving those spots for other stuff, right?
Oh, interesting.
But I don't have a number 4 slot, but my number 5 slot is a 1984,
Oh yeah.
and then my number 6 spot is Animal Farm.
Also Animal Farm, cool.
Two George
I'm
Orwell
actually
books.
reading through 1984. I know it's like a cardinal sin. Like if you know me and I haven't read 1984 yet, I'm a little bit through, but I know enough of the concepts. I understand it, even already. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow burn book.
Yeah, totally.
Like the first like half, you're like, all right, like
Yeah,
come on, George.
it's also
Like,
a lot of world building too. Honestly.
Yeah, well,
This,
yeah,
like,
for
crazy
sure it
alternate
is.
reality he envisioned.
For sure it is.
Well, I guess I can't say crazy alternate reality, but it's kind of the hell world we're living in. But
Someone just decided to take 1984 and say, this would go good with some Animal Farm.
I like this.
Yeah, and then Animal Farm is number 6.
Love it. Classic. I watched the movie like when I was a kid because like my older brother had to like
I don't remember
watch
there
it.
being a movie.
Yeah, they made a little like animated movie.
I don't remember watching it.
Yeah, I think like I said, my older brother either like had to do a book report or he had to watch a movie for English class or whatever. So I remember watching that when I was like too young to comprehend it. I was like, oh, pigs. Oh, the pig ran away. That's so sad.
Oh, the horse is getting taken to the doctor.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And it's like, it was funny looking back on that. I'm like, I didn't understand that movie at all. But I remember like asking my mom, like, when all my older siblings are away at school, Mom, can you put on Animal Farm?
Oh, that's
She's
hilarious.
All right. Start the education young.
That's hilarious.
Mhm.
Man. Then my number 7 slot is a relatively... I mean, it's pretty... Actually, it is super popular because Amazon just did an adaptation of the first book called the Jack Reacher series, The Terminal List.
Oh, yes.
Man.
That was good. That was a good show. And you told me to read it.
So the book... the show was good.
Mm-hmm.
The show was very good.
Yeah.
The book is
book was
way
very
better.
Yeah.
And the second book and the third book are amazing.
Cool.
There's actually 3 more that I haven't read because he's just pumping them out.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
but I'm super. They're so good.
And that's a fun genre of like modern spy-esque.
Yeah,
Like we have a lot of like spy content that I don't know, maybe like the James Bourne trilogy or whatever, but that I like this because it feels even more modern. It feels like this could happen today.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like the author is an ex-Navy SEAL,
Navy SEAL, so a lot of
and
stuff,
so
like,
a lot of like all of the stuff that he's like,
is legit.
it's like, and he does this with his gun. You're like, I mean, I know a lot about guns, but like, if he's gonna say that he does that with his gun, I'm gonna say yeah. I don't even need to like question it. It's very cool.
Legit.
It's very cool. Yeah, that's a good book. And then the Aragon series.
Oh, the Aragon series, yeah.
The ending of that was annoying.
Well, I was thinking about it earlier with Harry Potter. That was sort of that same era where it seemed like these young authors were writing. I guess J.K. Rowling wasn't that young, but these authors were getting popular around the time that we were like young adults. And it seemed that by the end of the series, they all got like too big for their britches, and like stopped listening to their editors.
Maybe the last book itself was good. It wasn't like the last Harry Potter, which was just trash.
Yeah.
It was a good book. It was just the last few chapters, how he ended the series was annoying.
You were not impressed.
Yeah, because the book's been out long enough. I'm just gonna tell you how it ends.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's fine.
The guy just walks away.
Oh, the main character.
The main character just walks into the distance.
Huh. Interesting.
And you're just like,
but why?
okay, you just beat the big bad guy. Like, you have to stay and help rebuild civilization.
Yeah, like you're the king now or whatever.
Yeah.
But the movie was pretty good. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
We don't need to bring that one up.
We don't need to dredge up those memories. There was a dragon in it. I liked it.
I
was also like 8.
Yeah. I honestly think though that if someone came along and said like, it's been long enough where like, okay, we're gonna like make this like a Game of Thrones-esque TV show.
Yeah.
If they put the budget of Game of Thrones behind Aragon
be good.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
series, yeah.
It'd be so good.
As long as they don't screw it up.
It'd be so. I mean,
looking at you, Wheel of Time. They screwed the pooch on that one. They can't do a thing with that.
Yeah. I tried watching it, and I haven't read those books, but I tried watching Wheel of Time, and I was just like,
I forced myself through the whole season. I was like, ooh. And to be fair, I've talked to my dad, who like likes to read a lot of old fantasy books. My dad is like, he never even got through book 1 because book 1 was kind of boring. And looking back on me reading book 1, I'm like, yeah, that was kind of boring.
yeah, in my opinion, if book 1 is not good, like, there's no reason for me to keep reading book 2.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about...
You can't, like, recommend it to somebody like, oh, it gets really good by book 7. Like, whoa, that's
yeah,
a huge
for real.
investment.
Like, if there was, like, one book that's, like, a little bit more boring than the others, but, like, they're all, like, pretty good still, you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe, like, book 5 is, like, not the greatest.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
Oh, you pick one out, but the rest
But if, like,
good.
book 1 and 2 are fantastic, book 3 and 4 are good, book 5 is, like, but then book 6 and 7 are, like, oh, these are good again. It's like, okay, that's fine.
The momentum will carry you through, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're already invested. That's
a little bit of world building or like storyline building is like fine.
Or again, you like I was with the Wheel of Time. I found a character I liked, and I was like, I kind of want to hear more about the character. Yeah. Anime fans are kind of the same way. They're like, oh yeah, this anime, it starts out really slow, and it's kind of weird and bad, and they had a low budget, but by episode 400, it gets good. Like, what? No,
I can't.
I don't have that kind of investment. Like,
I've tried watching anime before.
Well, so that's like old anime. Modern animes are more like normal TV shows. It's like we have like one 13-episode season, and maybe that's the whole story, or maybe there's like a second season. That's it.
Yeah, I can do American anime.
Yeah.
Like Avatar: The Last Airbender or Invincible.
Oh yeah,
the Amazon one. That one was really good.
Yeah, that was fun.
The first episode of that was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was good. Combined the storytelling and the art styles and.
Yeah. That one was good, but like I've watched most of Dragon Ball over time.
Oh, really? See, I wouldn't even like.
Well, not most of Dragon, like because there's like I've gotten the main plot points.
It's a lot of different series. Yeah, I would not pick that as a gateway anime personally. No, I've got some gateway anime.
Well, and when I was like really young, I watched like Yu-Gi-Oh, which I know is not anime necessarily, but it's. On Saturday morning cartoons, like Yu-Gi-Oh would be on or whatever, and I'd watch like the original Yu-Gi-Oh, not like the Sports Bike one or whatever.
No, yeah, the one we grew up with, it was
good.
Rewatching that one is like it's so bad.
Oh, it's so horrible.
It's so bad. But there's a lot of funny memes to it.
True.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, those are like my my top books though.
Books.
My top storylines.
Nice.
And I'm sure there's others that I've forgotten that I've read that I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are.
Right? Yeah.
This was just off the top of my head when I was
I
talking
know
about
there
it.
are because I only had a couple. The one again because I was thinking about all books I've read multiple times. The Hobbit. It's probably the only book I've read in English and Spanish, and English again. I think. So good. El Hobbit. Because
That's
I just pulled it out of a box here since I'm unpacking, and Sawyer was little brother was helping me put books away on the shelf. He's like, El Hobbit, what is this? And I tell him like, yeah, well, Tolkien made up a lot of words, so they don't translate.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it says just like orc or orco or something like for orcs.
Os orc.
Los orcos. Hilarious. But also in Spanish, they just have like one word for like fairy, elf, sprite, pixie, anything magical. So it's just duende. It's just like their magical creature word.
Interesting.
So I think he in the book, it's elfos or something.
How do you say dwarf? He's Portuguese is anão.
That's a good question. I used to know that when I was trying to play Dungeons and Dragons in Spanish. I don't remember. I'd have to look that one up. Anyway, The Hobbit.
Classic.
That's just a good adventure story. Love it. The movies were pretty good on that one.
Okay, those ones are way better than the Aragon adaptations.
Trying to get a reaction out of you there on that one.
I actually think that they did.
They were fine.
They balanced the money grubby hands with the story
With the content
well enough to like.
It could have been much worse.
It could have been way worse. It was actually a movie I was excited to watch when it came out.
Yeah, I'll admit. I think I saw
one.
the first one like 3 times in theaters.
Yeah.
I was that like invested in it. It was fun. I don't know if I've ever seen a movie multiple times in theaters besides that. Maybe like the last Batman, Dark Knight Rises. I think I saw that one 2 or 3 times.
What movie have I gone and seen multiple times?
Yeah. These days, I mean, everything's on streaming in a month. So.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. And then one of the other ones I came up with, Ready Player One. Yeah, I love this book.
Yeah,
That was a good one. And another thing, since that's also kind of the topic, the movie, it was all right.
I thought the movie was good.
Yeah, the movie was good. There was one big thing I wanted to, not to spend the whole episode on books and movies, but
okay.
one big thing that I really liked, the morals of the book was extremely different than what the morals of the movie taught, which I didn't really like. Because I read the book, I was like, wow, this is so good. If you recall, maybe the movie better, at the end of the movie, he's like, oh, they've got the VR, the Oasis, and at the end of the movie, they're like, yeah, and we shut down the Oasis on Tuesdays and Thursdays so that people could go out in the real world.
Yeah.
Like, that's retarded. The whole point of the book was like, not the whole point, but a big point was like, you have the freedom to like do what you want. But the quote that they changed in the movie, so that's why that made me mad. That didn't make any sense. Was when the hologram of the creator of the virtual reality Oasis, he's talking to the main character at the very end, right before he dies, even though he's already dead. He's telling him why he created the Oasis. I took a picture of the quote. It's he's saying, oh, he never felt at home in the real world. He didn't, like, he was like socially awkward, didn't know how to connect with people. But then he says, I was afraid for all my life until he knew he was dying. And he says, that's when I realized, as terrifying and as painful as reality can be, it's also the only place where you can find true happiness. Because reality is real. I was like, that, at the end of this whole book of like cool virtual reality, like video games and movies, pop culture references, I'd love to live in an alternate reality world. At the end of the day, it's like, reality is real. And in the movie, they changed that line. I don't know, like that was too inspiring for Hollywood or something. I don't know. But they made his character say like, because reality is the only place you can find a hot meal. I'm like,
that's what they said in the
That's what they said. Warm meal, something dumb like that. I was like, that totally changes the meaning. And then instead of like shutting down the Oasis on Tuesday and Thursdays, because in that society you needed the Oasis to function, like people had school and work in this world. At the end of this, the main character, he's like making out with the girl or whatever, and he realizes he's like, for the first time, I don't have any desire to log on.
Mm.
He finally found happiness in reality. And so that's like, that was his choice, his personal freedom. He
Interesting.
didn't make people not play video games or go to school or whatever it was.
Video game bad.
Yeah, and I was like, that. No, yeah, they totally missed the whole point of the book. In my head, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
reality is real. It's the only place you can find happiness.
it's interesting.
Yeah. So, those are definitely my two big ones. I have another like recent edition that maybe we could save a topic for another day, because I'd like to maybe talk about it, and or they have like a movie from the 80s we could watch. I could give you a brief little rundown, but I don't.
What is it?
It's called The Lathe of Heaven.
The Lathe of
The
Heaven.
Lathe. Not a super well known book, but my little brother recommended it to me. It's a short read, like 150 pages, but it's another one of the first like sci-fi novels. It's from the 70s. Super cool concept. The sci-fi, the supernatural part is our main character has dreams that change reality.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it's a pretty simple book. It's really just built around three characters. There's not a whole lot of like world building or
Sure.
anything. It's the main character who is like as milk toast as can be. He's just like boring. He's like true neutral on the alignment chart. He has no aspirations for anything, which I think is funny because it's not like super realistic.
Yeah.
Everybody has personalities, but
Yeah.
the whole point is that like you can't control your dreams, and so like it's just your subconscious, and this guy's subconscious is just like random.
Interesting.
And then it's him going to a psychiatrist to try to like figure it out. But as the story progresses, the psychiatrist figures out how he like, because he has a personality, he has an alignment. He's trying to use the guy's dream power for his benefit.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if that's a
I would love to see that movie.
yeah, I haven't seen the movie yet.
I'll
The
read it too.
book was amazing, so it'd be a cool synopsis to talk about. My brother and I we're already talking a little bit about like basically the alignments, like kind of their different points of view as the psychiatrist goes trying to like change the world. He's like, oh, we can use this power to change reality. Boo, boo, boo. And the main guy's like, no, I don't want to. Like, get rid of it.
Man, I should not be given that power
Right?
because I would definitely try my hardest to learn how to. What's the type of dreaming where you can actually like lucid dreaming?
Lucid dream. Yep.
I would 100% lucid
Try to
dream.
control it. Yeah.
And then I just like give myself all the money in the world and like
Yep.
kill all the pedos in the world,
And then you're golden.
and then live a happy life for the rest of my life.
That's a lot of it. Like, I see the psychiatrist more as like a chaotic good. Like, a lot of the things he's trying to do are good, but he inherently just like changes the world.
Yeah.
Whereas the
Getting-
main character, like, the worst thing he does unintentionally is like he had this he said the first time he discovered the power, he was young and he was like 17 or whatever, and he had this aunt that he didn't really like that was like staying at their house for a little bit. And it is set in like a kind of alternate semi-future where it's like, oh, war-torn world and life sucks and
Yeah.
pollution or whatever. So he didn't really like this aunt, and she was like kind of weird, like coming onto him type thing. And so he like dreamed that night that she had died or whatever, because it's just your subconscious, you can't control it. And then he wakes up to find like his mom crying on the phone.
And she's dead.
No, he found out that she died 6 weeks ago, and there was like no like reality of her that she was staying at his house. She died in like, I don't know, some war plane bombing or whatever.
Oh, what the heck?
So that's how much you can like change reality. You can literally
Back in time. Like,
back in time. It shapes around him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So maybe we'll watch a movie this week or talk about it.
Yeah,
next
that'd be
time,
cool.
yeah.
That's very interesting.
So that's one of my newest favorite books. My newest is the last one I read.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm reading right now. It's a series that I'm on the last one right now. It's 9 books called the Echoes Saga.
Echoes.
My mom got them for me for Christmas. All 9 of them. Oh man, they're chunky books.
I was about to say, it's July. You're cranking them out since Christmas. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, they're roughly 600 or 700 pages each.
I'm surprised I haven't heard of this series.
This Australian author. They came out. They're pretty new. Like
Okay.
he just finished writing the 9th one in like 2022,
Nice.
2023
Wow.
maybe. But man, they are so good. and he does a really good job of like breaking the rules of like his own world
Okay.
to make other things happen,
But,
but in
like,
like a way you're like, okay, like
It's still believable.
yeah, like he at the end of the third book, one of the main characters dies. And then in the fourth or fifth book, that main character is resurrected.
Is it like sci-fi or fantasy?
Fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah. So elves, dwarves, magic,
brought him back to life.
dragons, all that good stuff.
Cool.
But he does it's refreshing on how it works though. It's really a refreshing take on magic and dwarves and elves and things like that. And it's the classic, elves are like the tree folk.
Races. Oh.
Also, yes.
Right, yeah. All defining traits.
Yeah, but it's interesting that the way he does it is very interesting. The dwarves are the miners and things like that, but there's like the different dwarven kingdoms, and the reason that the dwarves have never been able to take over any of the other realms or groups is because there's so much infighting between the dwarves that they just keep their populations so low by themselves.
That's their own greed.
Their hierarchy is like interesting, and then there's dragons and dark mages, and it's pretty sick.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And there's a group called the Dragorn who are dragon riders who, have a bond with their dragon that turns them immortal because they
get dragon blood or whatever.
well, their bond, their like minds meld together, so their
it's
brains are like one almost.
Mind meld Pacific Rim status.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, nice.
It's pretty sick. It's a pretty good. It once I finish the series, I'll put it on my top 10 list.
Sure.
It's that good.
So, do you know does it end at 9, or is he going to write more?
It's the last book. It's a 9-book series.
That's always impressive when an author can finish a series.
He has started a new series.
Oh, yeah,
but it's a completely different.
Totally
right?
different. That's okay.
But yeah, this is the last book in the
I
series.
think that's one reason. Like my brother is like, I started Game of Thrones like a book 1, but then I put it down because I like that series is never gonna end. So George R.R. Martin is just never gonna finish it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
true. Yeah, but in the front page, he has like the list of all his books, right, on like one of the front title pages, and it says even in like the 4th or 5th book, it says the Echo Saga, and it lists all of them out, and then in parentheses it says 9-book series.
9 books.
So he had it planned out for 9 books.
Excellent. Yeah,
from like the 3rd or 4th book.
that's really cool.
So, and then underneath that he has like the title of the other series.
The next one, yeah.
But I haven't read those yet. But I'm sure this. I mean,
You're sold. Yeah.
this author is fantastic. So
Nice. All right, tell me about this movie you saw yesterday.
yeah, Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. I had not heard anything about this.
It's not like a studio movie.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
it comes from a studio, but it's not like a Hollywood
Not
movie,
yet.
right?
Big budget, big production.
No, it's about the founder of the group Operation Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
And that organization basically is like the premier child rescue organization for child sex slaves and child trafficking.
Child trafficking, yeah.
Human trafficking, really. They do a lot of just human trafficking in general.
But a lot of it is children.
Yeah, unfortunately. And this movie started off kind of just as like a dark action movie where it's like, this bad Homeland Security agent is like in the anti-pedophile ring in the US, basically. And he's, catching pedophiles and, over the course of his career has caught 300 or whatever pedophiles and whatnot, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good record.
Yeah, and then like he rescues this kid who was brought to the US because he was infiltrating this pedophile ring and like wanted to get like he acted like he was going to like buy this kid to use as a sex slave, and then like took down the entire ring, like that branch of the ring because of that, right?
That's impressive.
And everyone was like, dude, that's like a career capper. Like you rescued a kid. Like no one ever rescues the kids because they're all foreign kids, right? They're not U.S. kids.
Yeah.
And I mean, not a lot of them are U.S. kids, but like a lot of them are from South America, Africa, and Asia, and things like that. But they're like, yeah, you rescued a kid, got him back to his family, like. That's a career topper. You're definitely going to make like chief or whatever. Right?
Yeah. Ooh, promotion.
And then he's like, well, he was talking with his boss. He's like, well, like his sister was also taken. So like let me at least try to find her.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was like, okay, you have a week or like 10 days or something like that is what he gave him. And they made up like a reason why he had to go down to South America for like training or whatever, or like to train local whatever. And he's down there, and he just like unearths this crazy amount of, bless you,
Thank you.
this crazy amount of, child trafficking, child molestation,
Yeah, found the whole ring.
the evil that exists in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like calling his boss because he still works for the government at this point, blah, blah, blah. His boss is like, well, you got to hurry up. We can't keep you down there forever because you're a Homeland Security agent, not some rogue CIA operative or whatever, right?
I guess that's...
And so kind of that keeps going on. Then the turning point of the movie is when he has this plan to rescue a ton of kids. And he's just trying to rescue this one girl, right? That's like the goal of the movie, is to rescue this one girl. And then his boss calls him about halfway through the movie and says like, hey, you have to come home.
Yeah,
like you're done. We can't keep you down there, and you can't keep spending money down there. And he's like, but I'm like so close.
He's close, yeah.
And he's met all these contacts down there who are like actively helping him tear down this enterprise. And so the turning point of the movie was when he's talking with this guy who's an ex-cartel member and went to jail and then got out of jail and was like still trying to party and stuff like that, and then like had this come to Jesus moment basically where he had like a 45 to his head, and then he was like, no, I can save people or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how it went, but he talked with that guy, and the guy was basically like, if God tells you to do something, you better do it. And the guy was like, well, frick.
Yeah, well.
And so he calls his boss and he says, my resignation is in your email inbox.
Wow.
And he was only 10 months away from like full retirement and
Full
pension and
pension,
stuff like that. And which is crazy.
Dude, yeah.
And so he stays down in Colombia
finish the job
for like a couple more months. And they rescue a stupid amount of they go through the end of the movie is basically he wins. He rescues the main taken girl with plus a bunch of other slaves, basically, right? Takes down a whole big old pedophile ring and stuff like that, and then eventually founds this organization called Operation Underground Railroad.
Right, yeah, and this is a true story. I don't know if we
clarified that. 100% true story.
This is real.
Right? Like, they changed, like, the dialogue between some of the characters, but, like, everything that happened.
Yeah. The actor is a little more ripped than the guy in real life.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's...
But, yeah, and so it was just kind of the really sobering part of the movie was, like, first of all, it's a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the story in general is like, okay, this is kind of sick.
Yeah, like an action movie.
They did really well. And, like, there's, like, super, like, moments of tension where they're like, oh my gosh, is this gonna, like, go really bad? And then there's, like, oh, dude, this guy's got some cojones, and, like... And then the end of the movie, they're, like, doing the credits roll and whatnot. And the main actor comes on, and he's like, this is not like a big Hollywood movie. We're doing this to like raise awareness, and like goes on this whole spiel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go through like the statistics of kids.
Man. Like the real life.
And it's like
that's a tearjerker there at the end, I bet.
Oh my gosh.
The credits roll, you think the movie's over.
Yeah. There are more slaves today, certifiable slaves, in the world today than in all of human history, including when slavery was legal.
Jeez.
Most of those are children.
Most of them are sex slaves, aren't they?
And a large proportion of them are sex slaves.
Yeah, that's sick.
The United States is the largest purchaser of sex slaves in the world.
I heard that just from the little YouTube video I watched from the guy and the actor were like there.
Yeah.
That told me that blew my mind. I'm like,
$250 billion a year
jeez.
in sex in the
Trafficking,
child
human
trafficking,
yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so the call to action of the movie was like, this movie is supposed to be like the sound of freedom, like we're ringing freedom, like let us all gather up and rescue these kids and do something and demand that governments take this more seriously and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, man.
That's cool.
My wife and my mom came out emotional. My dad as well was shooken,
Yeah.
and I came out wanting to kill pedophiles.
All right, let's go.
I just think that there needs to be a task force of ex-Navy SEALs and Green Berets and Delta Force operators that just, we put them on a boat and they go around the world and, hey, this looks like a pedophile ring.
Right. Probably can't be government, assuming the government hasn't done anything yet. So it's gonna be
Just
that's vigilantism at that point. But hey,
I just think it's crazy to me, even without like the sex slave stuff, just the slavery statistic in general.
there's more slaves now. I've heard that one before.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And it's sad, like most of the non-sex slaves are in Asia and Africa as, forced labor for mining companies and
Yeah.
technology companies and things like that. It's just sobering.
That is. That's you texted me as I was watching that little interview, like I said, with the main guy. I forget his name, Tim something or whatever. You remember that name of the character? I mean, it's the real life guy.
Tim Ballard or
Tim
something?
Ballard. That sounds right. And then the actor Jim Caviezel, who's a boss. I love that actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he did Passion of the Christ. That's probably his biggest thing he's known for. Super good. And the guy Tim Ballard, he said like studios approached him to like, hey, you should turn this into a movie, like because he has his operation. And he said, yeah, but only if Jim Caviezel plays me. He's like, I gotta pick that guy because not only is he pretty good looking, he's pretty built. So it's like, if you have that kind of power to pick, of like, yeah, I'd probably pick a guy like that too.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And
just a great actor and just, like
he's a great actor, but then he said that specifically he's like, and I know he's a good Christian.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I don't want that taken out of the story. I want the actor to like feel that.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, that's a lot of his motivation. It's like,
well, yeah. So
he's got his duty to country, his job, but he's like at his heart, he's like, I got to do what's right.
Yeah. So that was one of the main kind of plot points of the story was that God's children are not for sale.
Yeah.
That was like one of the motivating like drivers.
That's strong.
When he first goes down to Colombia and meets with this ex-cartel guy who's going to help him, the cartel guy is like, why are you doing this? He's like, well, I don't like child trafficking. He's like, that's a stupid answer. Yeah. Why are you doing this? And he says certain things about it for him, and he goes, because God's children are not for sale.
Ooh, that's a good line.
And the guy looks at him and goes, we can be friends, or whatever he says, right?
That's a good answer.
Yeah, and they go off and get a bunch of bad guys arrested.
Yeah, and then it's cool. It's a cool story.
Yeah.
I heard from that interview they're kind of having a hard time like getting it into theaters. That's probably why I hadn't heard about the movie yet. And it was relatively low budget, so they probably haven't advertised as much as like the big Disney movies coming out or whatever. I think Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise, one of the Toms, is like another big movie coming out in a week or two.
New Mission Impossible.
That's it. Thank you.
Forgot about that.
Tom Cruise, obviously, Mission Impossible. But so yeah, they were having a hard time like just getting into theaters because that's a lot of it in the movie industry. I guess I didn't realize you can make a movie, you can advertise it, but if a theater doesn't pick you up,
well, so let me tell you, we went last night. Most of the time, when you go to the movies, they're pretty empty for the most part.
These days, like
opening night of like one of the Marvel movies, maybe not.
Maybe,
but like
ever since COVID,
Monday after it comes out, it's like you're gonna find seats. We looked at Cinemark had 2 showings, 7:10 and 7:30.
Wow,
we couldn't find seats in either of them.
Huh.
Not just like 4 seats together.
Yeah,
there was like 2 seats in the front corner, and we're like, I'm not sitting in the front corner.
No.
The second showing at Cinemark also had like 3 seats available.
Yeah,
we went to Harkins, theater also sold out.
Wow.
There's like a couple like random 1 seats here because no one wanted to sit next to each other.
Yeah, so you're like, maybe us 4 could just go and be in the theater, but we wouldn't be next to each other.
Yeah.
Would you end up doing like AMC your last?
No, we did Harkins.
You did Harkins?
We had like 4 seats, just kind of like in the. They were fine seats, right?
Yeah.
It was still fine, but it was a full theater.
That's impressive.
It was a full theater.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and so I think it's doing well. I hope it's doing well.
Yeah, I hope so.
They also have
I'll have to go see it this week.
they have a cool
hopefully.
thing at the end. They have a QR code that you scan,
Oh, nice.
and the actor says like, "This may seem weird, but we invite you to take your phones out in the middle
in
of
a movie
in the movie theater and scan this QR code." And they have a pay it forward thing
Oh, nice.
where you can buy and gift tickets to that movie to other people,
Whoa,
which is kind of cool.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because again, I mean, not everybody's an ex-Navy SEAL who can go out and actively
Yeah,
do something, but you can help somehow.
yeah, and just like they were saying, like the point of this movie is not to like get money. Like the point of the movie was to raise awareness,
yeah.
and if we make a little bit of money, it's just going to go directly towards saving more of these kids and things like that.
Yeah.
They didn't even. What's crazy is that they didn't. I don't know if this is. I don't know how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. They didn't like promote their organization at all.
Oh, really?
Not once did they say Operation
Underground
Railroad.
Huh.
Not once. Not once did they mention any organization that would accept charitable donations or anything like that.
Yeah.
Which I liked because they're not like shilling.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not like trying to sell you this organization.
One big hour-and-a-half long commercial.
Yeah. And honestly, it was a very entertaining movie still.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was still very good.
Which is cool because sometimes like you find movies that are like for a good cause or you want to support, but
Yeah.
they're not the best
Like
movies.
crap. You're like, this was junk.
Yeah, whereas like this is actually a well-made movie.
Yeah, with a good actor.
Good actor. It's entertaining, and there's a good cause.
And the dad of the two kids who get taken in the movie is played by an actor who's been in like TV shows like Suits.
Oh, okay.
Like he's like a well-known, like there's like some very well-known actors in this movie.
Nice.
So it's, it was a very good movie. Very well done.
That's interesting. Yeah, that they like the movie just raises enough awareness about it. You'd probably naturally end up in like the Operation Underground Railroad.
Or
website.
looking up who Tim Ballard is.
Yeah. So there's enough, but it's more just like Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
Stop child sex trafficking.
Yeah. It was a very, very, very good movie.
Yeah, Paul,
And
I'm
very good message.
I'm like excited. I'm motivated to go see it. I wanna.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool. I'll have to find that this week. Maybe I'll go to the movie theater if you want to go again. Maybe sometime this week.
Maybe.
And then we'll watch Laid to Heaven. I'll try to find that one on streaming somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
gotta be.
The book's also a quick read, but then we can watch that together and
Yeah.
just talk about the story.
Yeah. Well, we need to talk about the One Ring.
The biggest news of the day.
Switching gears completely.
Totally, the last topic was serious.
Yeah.
This is
Stupid.
yeah. I was gonna make some joke about. No, I can't. No, yeah. Stupid serious. No, it's just stupid.
So, Magic the Gathering has their Lord of the Rings crossover.
The crossover.
It's doing well.
Combine the nerds.
Yeah, we don't like the cards.
Yeah.
There's some okay ones. I still think Shelob, Child of Ungoliant or whatever, is like the best
cool.
spider commander.
Big old spider.
But other than that one, I'm not like super pumped about any of the cards or anything like that. But everyone is like, there's like these collector edition cards. One of them is the One Ring. 1 out of 1 printing in Elvish. It's, it does. I think it's still just a soul. What does it do?
No, it is they made an actual card, the One Ring, in game, so it does some stuff or whatever, and this is functional.
Right.
Not that you would ever play it,
No.
because there's only one.
But there was a bounty of like $2 million plus on this card.
Was that just last week or 2 weeks ago that we were talking about? I think it was just
I
last
think it
week.
was just last week.
We were like, yeah, the bounty was $1 million. Somebody had just offered $2 million. I think back then last week.
Yeah. But someone found it.
They already found it.
And it's been graded.
I thought we'd be searching for months,
Me too.
but that
Me
was
too.
quick.
Yeah.
Our episodes are 1 week apart.
Yeah.
We found it.
We're not even filming. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So they found it and they got it graded and didn't sell it yet.
Yeah. I heard I don't know much. The founder got a lawyer, and they took it to the official magic card grading guy or whatever. I think maybe they do multiple trading cards.
Well, yeah, it's a PSA.
PSA.
Right? They do Pokemon and all those other
And
ones.
they grade on a 10-point scale, and the rarest card in Magic the Gathering history, the most expensive card, it's at least $2 million, got a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
It's so funny to me. Not that it matters, because it's not like you can compare it of like, oh, here's my ultra rare Charizard.
Yeah.
That's a 9 out of 10. But this ultra rare Charizard is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is just, yeah, the One Ring got a 9. It could have been graded a 2 if they just
Yeah.
opened it out of pack and just like trashed it. Like,
I mean, a 9 is still high. A
It's
9
still-
is like
it's still good.
pretty much perfect still.
but it's funny because like the difference between a 9 and a 10 is probably like the packaging. Like it got roughed up in the pack
Yeah.
itself. You just think Wizards of the Coast made the card, the single print, they would have taken extra care with that pack.
For sure.
Wrap it up in like bubble wrap before shipping it.
Can you imagine you open up your collector's edition boxes and stuff, you're like,
This one has 2 feet of bubble wrap around it. I wonder if this pack is special.
nah, that can't be it, right? You
No.
just toss it.
That's too obvious.
Too funny. But yeah, like,
So he lawyered up, which is smart, definitely, because that's.
you just became $2 million at least dollars richer.
I heard somebody compare it to like a winning the lottery of like people find out that you're $2 million richer, they're gonna start like knocking on your door.
Well,
Yeah.
this one's funny because as of now, he's technically not richer yet.
That's true. He hasn't sold it.
And what's interesting is if he never sells it, he never has to pay taxes on it,
Yeah.
but you can still claim it on your net worth scale because people have offered it to you.
There is an ascribed value.
There isn't
to
a
it, right?
prescribed value to this asset now.
Interesting.
And so,
is that smarter?
oh, I think so because you can take out debt on it and then not have to pay any taxes on that $2 million.
Huh. You could just
If you default on that debt, the bank or whoever
that would be
takes
bad.
your money, takes the card away.
But
But at that point, you're
the card's not going to lose value so long as you keep it in a case. Like
yeah.
you can just take out a loan for your house and then you're good. You got the collateral.
Yep.
Huh. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone should do that.
No.
Because
If you have it, yeah, you should probably sell it. But then I heard, because I think he was in Canada, and I think, like, I mean, I'm sure our tax code is just as bad, but I read some articles like, yeah, Canada tax code would treat it like gambling winnings or whatever, so they take like 50% in taxes. I'm like, ooh.
Which I don't know how they can do that because it's not gambling.
Yeah, I forget.
It's a trading card game.
It's a trading card game, but it felt like it was a gamble, a Willy Wonka golden ticket, if you will.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still sell for $2 million, make $1 million. That's all right, but you almost like
I'd take $1 million any day of the week.
you almost should have like held on to it, let the bounty grow.
Well, I think what he's gonna do, at least what I would do, is now that people know it's out there, like that bounty is probably like just put it up for auction.
Put it up for auction, you'd probably get more.
Like just like go sell it at like one of the high-end auction houses.
You gotta like advertise it. You want to attract everyone.
Yeah,
Across the world.
yeah. Like put out some Facebook ads,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or whatever, or like go on to the Magic the Gathering forums and whatever, right? YouTube channels and things like that, and just say, yeah,
So for auction.
putting it up for auction on this date.
Starting bid at $2 million.
Reserve at X amount. You know,
That'd be intense.
how much do you think he gets for it?
Ooh. Yeah.
Because a Black Lotus goes for what, 500,000?
Yeah. The best ones can be 500,000. I've seen like the worst ones for like 100,000, but that's still like.
And how many of them are there?
Oh, there is a set number. I forget. It's like from the first edition.
Yeah.
Which are the rarest, most expensive ones. The $100,000 ones are like the third edition Black Lotus. But the first edition, I think that they have a set number. It was only like 1,200 or something like that.
Okay, but there's 1,200 of them
Yeah.
for 500,000.
This is the first. Before now, like Black Lotus was the most expensive Magic card. Now it's the One Ring. Because there's only one. I think he can get
3 or 4.
Yeah, I was even maybe gonna say 5. 5 million is like a high estimate. Again, if he puts it up to auction, if you're smart about it.
That's crazy.
But also, it's a unique opportunity because it's the first time Wizards of the Coast has done this. Probably the first time any trading card game has done this. A 1/1 serialized, only print run card, which may seem kind of stupid to some people, but I mean, it's One Ring.
I think what they did with the other rings is cool.
Yes.
Where it's like out of 700, out of
They
500,
have
out of
other
300.
serialized.
200? 300?
300, yep.
300?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the 7 rings, the 5 rings.
Yeah, and
the
I've seen
3
some of
rings.
those going for like 10,000 pop.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's pretty cool. I'd be content to open one of those. I don't
Yeah.
need the one ring, but this did so well. There's tons of stuff, not even speculation. Wizards of the Coast is going to do it again. I don't know if you can do anything quite as well as the one ring, but maybe
Yeah.
like 500 of just this one card.
Well, I think the serialized card thing is cool. Like,
Yeah,
I'm fine with them
sweet.
doing serialized cards. Like, that's fine.
Yeah,
But a 1 of 1, it
a
would be...
1/1.
Like, a 1 of 1 Millennium Falcon. Come on.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do that.
Right. So if they end up doing that, like those are probably just going to lose value over time.
Yeah.
Like 20 years down the line, the 1/1. This is the shirt that Frodo wore. I don't know. Like they do Lord of the Rings again. Something
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
Whereas the One Ring is the first. It's the best.
Yeah.
Makes the most sense. So if he sells for like 5 million, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
They're only going to go down from there. Is what I think.
You don't think the 1 ring would retain its value?
It might, but as far as any future serialized cards, I don't think they'll ever hit the heights of the One Ring.
No, for sure not,
Yeah.
right? I don't think anyone,
It's definitely seen like the peak.
for sure, especially because, like, even just flavor texting it is the 1 ring.
Yeah.
Right?
I saw a petition going around of like with some of the funds they need to like sign a contract, agree to like take the ring to like New Zealand and chuck it in a volcano. If that's part of it. Like, you know, film the whole thing or whatever so that you can keep that for posterity, but if like it's the One Ring, we must destroy it. Yeah.
That would be the greatest event to ever happen on the planet.
Uh-huh. You like recreate like
In
this-
nerddom, at least.
Yeah. You recreate the adventure of like hiking to Mount Doom, cast it into the fire. Yeah.
If I were... Oh, man.
I don't know if New Zealand has any active volcanoes actually, but
I don't know. If that's your brother.
yeah.
But, man, I mean, you
Totally
could
fine.
figure something out.
You'd find something.
Because that would be so funny.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
The most valuable piece of paper. And we just burned it.
Wow. But, like, for the story.
Yeah, for the story. You sell it to make the money to like fund that, and you can build it up, make a movie out of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
A documentary.
Dude, that would get so many views on YouTube.
It's yeah.
For sure. For sure. What do you think they're like, so like they're gonna do the serialized cards again,
Mhm.
obviously.
Sure.
I think that's a great idea. The 1 of 1, maybe not for like any other besides just Lord of the Rings. Any other one is like, okay, you're just trying to use the same momentum of Lord of the Rings stuff,
Yeah.
but like you can't do that with any other. Like, what else can you do that with?
Yeah, your Star Wars idea was pretty good. That probably wouldn't surprise me 5-10 years down the line. We'll get a Star Wars crossover.
Yeah, which it would be cool to have those
Yeah.
crossovers, right? But like, I also worry that like Magic is a fantasy game,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing in
Other
like sci-fi stuff is not great in my opinion.
yeah, when I think we mentioned before, Magic has tons of like of its own world, its own history
Yeah.
and lore. You don't really need to include others.
I suppose like if you were gonna do a Star Wars themed thing, Star Wars crossover, you could do like, you know, the different races. Like you could have like an Ewok deck
Oh sure, yeah.
where it's like they're like Ewok halflings or something like that. Where
Yeah,
there's
you
still
could-
like some.
You try to like put some fantasy, so
Yeah.
at least it works.
You could also do like a crew deck with like
All the
spaceships.
vehicles, spaceships and walkers.
Like the Empire could be like an artifact type deck or something like
okay,
that,
yeah.
where you have the Death Star and it's like an artifact with crew 7 or something like
yeah,
that.
tons of vehicles.
But it like just nukes things after. It has like time counters on. It has time counters on it,
yeah,
and then after it gets to like 10 time counters
You
or on
build
it,
it.
after you build it up to 10 time counters, it like does 25 damage to target.
wins you the game or whatever.
Yeah, or like just like target opponent with the lowest health loses or something like that.
Deals 100 damage to everyone. including yourself. It just kills everyone. Self-destruct.
Well, no. You know what would be super fun to do is flavor text to where it has like 99 toughness,
Okay.
but then it has like on the text it has, if this card is attacked by 10 or more 1/1s, it is destroyed.
Tiny little things.
Yeah. They have to be 1/1s though, right?
Yes.
They can't be anything like
10 instances of 1 damage.
uh-huh.
Well placed bombs.
Yep, exactly. That'd be funny.
I would. I'd enjoy that.
But you could have like the Star Destroyers and like the X-Wings, and
Yeah.
those would be good artifacts.
It'd be cool. Totally.
But
that's
the
just
sci-fi aspect
like,
of it.
I want to keep my fantasy and my science fiction.
Yeah, that's why I'm like they did the Warhammer stuff, but Warhammer is really just fantasy mixed with sci-fi.
It is, yeah. It's fantasy in the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Which maybe that's technically what sci-fi is, but
well, no, because sci-fi doesn't ever have like magic,
yeah, that's true.
and like
It is science fiction inherently is like seems real. Like it's believable that it could be our world just fast forwarded.
20,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas like Warhammer would never happen because like there's no like magic in the world.
Yeah. Even like alien races, yeah, that's sci-fi, obviously. That's fine.
Yeah, but like
Warhammer
psychic damage.
Using mind powers.
I blast you with my brain waves.
There's enough fantastical elements to
Where it's like it works, right?
it fits, it's fine. And in theory, when Magic started doing these crossovers, I forget if I mentioned, they were supposed to have, they called like in-universe versions. They've done that a couple times, like when they had a Stranger Things crossover. Took them a few extra months, but they kicked out like, they had I think maybe 9 Stranger Things characters who were Magic cards. Then a few months later, then they released Magic the Gathering characters. They just invented new characters that were the Stranger Things characters. In game, functionally, it's the same card. Just the art's different.
Gotcha.
So, and the name. So they were supposed to do that. That was kind of the promise with these like crossovers, but now there's too many cards in the crossovers. I don't like the Lord of the Rings set. That's legitimate. Those are all tournament legal cards. They're not gonna re-release a whole set that's different names.
No.
So,
well,
that's the future.
I'm interested to see how this Doctor Who crossover goes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's like pure sci-fi.
Yeah. Yeah. Really.
So I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Oh well.
I'm interested to see how it goes because I've seen some Doctor Who. I haven't watched like the whole show front to back or whatever, but I know enough about it to like understand how the show works. But it doesn't seem like it. I mean, it's definitely a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
It's not a fantasy. I mean, the two main bad guys are robots.
Yeah. Just robot aliens.
Yeah. The Daleks. And what's the Iron Man?
The Cybermen.
Cybermen.
Yeah. I forget what they say, but yeah.
I don't remember. But yeah, like the Daleks, like, are you gonna like they have to be like an artifact, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's gotta be. Yeah, I don't know.
Artifact creature robot.
I think they do have robots in Magic already, as a card type. So.
I don't know.
That is interesting with sci-fi because it's science fiction always like explains its science normally.
Yeah.
So
like in Warhammer and Dune, for example, they have the reason that they don't have AIs is because they both had the AI wars.
Yeah.
Right, where they
they
had the artificial intelligence, but then artificial intelligence was like, yeah, but we're smarter than you, so like we're the rulers now.
Yeah,
starts genociding all these humans.
That's rough. And I really like that concept explored. Maybe we could talk about it another day, like favorite TV shows or something. I think I mentioned Person of Interest. Talking about Jim Caviezel, he's the main character in Person of Interest. Such a good show.
Yeah, very good show.
You've seen it all the way through, right? Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. I've definitely watched like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah. So it's cool because the first like 2.5 seasons is like this cool like corrupt cop arc, and then like the second 2.5 seasons, it's 5 seasons total, totally like flips the script and turns into like rogue AI stuff.
Oh, I haven't seen
Like,
that part of
taking over.
it.
It's pretty cool. Like maybe some people didn't like the switch, but it builds up well. It all makes
Yeah.
sense.
I should watch that.
That era of TV was just so cool, where it's like you think you're just watching like a normal cop drama, like bad guy of the week, but there's actually this big overarching story about two competing AIs. Like they both think they're good, but one is pretty evil. Actually, it's a little more chaotic. So I like that explored. Yeah, the AI's trying to take over. That worries me a little bit personally, but
What is there? There's a show. Yeah, AI is interesting. There's a show where they have like an AI, but then there's like a second AI. Doesn't help at all.
I've narrowed it down.
I don't remember what it was, but it was like an AI that created an AI. Is it a movie? Shoot, I don't remember.
All right, well,
I'll
think about it,
figure
let me
it
know.
out. But AI, what we've got going on now is interesting.
yeah. This one was Person of Interest was like 10 years ago. It was like I'm seeing a lot of this come to light already. Like
Yeah.
and
What do you take of Elon Musk's warnings of
Oh
AI
yeah, he was pushing for like the 6-month pause
to
on-
figure it out
on
and like
AI development or something.
yeah, and legislate stuff to make it like safer and things like that?
I do think it's progressing really fast. And I think in general, any new technology progressing that fast is a little bit troublesome. Like, 'cause not that I like the government all that much, but you do kind of want to give like people time to respond,
Yeah.
to figure things out.
Gotta get it on the stack, like
Yeah, we gotta order our triggers. Maybe it's like a dumb example, but like when hoverboards came out and they were like big, it's just a stupid little skateboard on wheels, but it's automatic. Those came out, those got really big at ASU. I was there, and everybody had a hoverboard. They were just like zipping all over campus because it didn't count as like a vehicle. And college is so big, it's got these walk only zones, but people were just hoverboarding through them. Otherwise, you'd have to like hop off your bike or your scooter or whatever. Until there was a fire caused by a hoverboard in one of the dorms, and then they banned hoverboards on the whole campus because of that. So it's like they were so new, it's like they didn't know that it was a fire hazard. I don't know the whole story. Maybe it was something dumb, so maybe this is a bad example, but of like ASU kind of had to catch up to like the new technology.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So something to think about. Of like, it is even seen in the past like 6 months since my wife's a graphic designer. She uses a lot of the Mid-Journey as like the image generation AI. In the past 6 months, some of that stuff, I'm like, okay, this is too realistic. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Some of the tools it has. So.
Yeah. It's kind of, I don't know how to feel about it. Half of me is like, I mean, it's just kind of, it's not like really AI. It's just like a really smart computer.
Yes, and
it's not like an intelligence yet because it can't think for itself yet.
Which, hot take, maybe thinking for itself would almost be better. You have to have real intelligence because computers only do what you tell them to.
Yeah,
computers will do whatever you program them to.
I saw this interesting. It was one of those Reddit like writing prompts.
Okay, yeah.
And it was basically like, the Alien Council has decided that humans' attempts at artificial intelligence are not good, and they come in and send like a representative to like investigate it or whatever, right? And it was talking about how basically they go to this scientist and they were like, so like, we don't want you to build AIs, and they're like, why? AIs are fine. And they're like, no, they cause so much destruction and they never do anything. They have no morals or anything like that. And they were like, what are you talking about? And they're in this like orphanage type thing almost, right? Yeah. And one of the young girls comes in and is like talking, and the doctor, the head scientist, goes like, all right, Cindy or whatever her name was, like, go ahead and go away. And then she turns around and says like, see, AIs are completely fine. And they had made like a body for this AI in this story, right? Weird. And we're raising it as a child so that it learned the culture and the morals of the human environment. And they're like, and so the scientist talks to like this alien ambassador and it's like, did you just create an adult AI? And they go, yeah. It's like, Well, then of course they didn't have any values or morals, you retard.
Adults are dumb. No,
Like-
but it's like, yeah, you have to teach that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh. Like, if there is a new intelligence that is created, we probably shouldn't make it a 50-year-old.
Yeah, treat it like a child.
Treat it like a 2-year-old.
It's brand new.
And then teach it like,
I
hey,
like that.
we don't hit.
Yes.
Hey, we don't nuke other
Eating
countries.
is bad. No, yeah, it's bouncing back off a person of interest as well. There's one episode we should probably watch together. It's super good.
Okay.
Because it flashbacks a lot to the one of the main characters made the good AI.
Mm.
And it spent like years over the span of the series. You see a lot of the flashbacks, but he really that was exactly it. He had to teach it like it was a kid. And there's one episode in particular was super cool because he was kind of teaching it morals and not
Interesting.
not to value one life above another. That every human's identical. Because in the episode is really funny. It's like running simulations, so it's like a Groundhog's Day episode where it'll like reset the episode, which is hilarious. The first time it totally like throws you for a loop because you see all the main characters die. You're like, what the and then it goes to commercial break.
And you're like, wait, what the heck, man?
What? And then you realize like, oh, okay, the AI is running simulations on trying to save the main characters from the situation they're in. Super cool episode, and periodically it's going to the flashback where the creator is like playing chess with the AI, and he's trying to teach him that like real life isn't like chess. You don't have some pieces worth more than another, and just some of those cool like human values you got to instill like it's a child. So
Yeah, interesting.
yeah,
Interesting.
very neat.
Well, alrighty. Shall we wait till next time?
Yeah, had a good foray of topics this time. And
Yeah.
plenty more to talk about next time.
Cool. Alrighty.
Sweet.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks for watching this episode of the 5G Podcast.
We appreciate your time and your comments.
As always, you can find us on all of the social medias, such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
You can also listen to the 5G Podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Again, thank you for watching the 5G Podcast. We hope to see you next week.
Hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
All right. Next time we will be talking about the Lathe of Heaven. We're probably going to watch the movie together and discuss it, as well as we're going to talk about Remnant 2, a cool new game coming out that we're pretty pumped for.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty excited for it. Hope to see you guys then. Thanks.
Thanks.
Jeez Louise, that was a mess.
That's fun.